the biggest thing that I see for self-defense that I don't see, because it's not about the martial art part of it. It's about I'll just keep it to women specifically. Making good decisions in relationships is not something, I did not do it. I was lucky that I ended up with somebody who was, on the emotional side of not the nicest than the physical.
Yeah.
I had someone one time tell me, they're like, you do martial arts because you don't know how to stand up for yourself. I was like, no. And this person who said it, I was not a fan of. So I was like, oh, fuck you, but inside I was like, oh shit, that's a good read. Like, I have to think about that. And, it's taken me a long time when I finally made some changes and learned. For me, it was a book called Attached that talks about, are you familiar with it?
I'm familiar with it. I have not read it, but I am familiar with it.
It's so good because it talks about the attachment styles of how you are in relationships. So for me to be able to break the cycle that I kept finding myself in, I learned about attachment styles. Then I realized that there are people who are securely attached. And my fiance is a securely attached person, but I would not have believed that it was even a real thing. Yeah. And I probably would have found a way to sabotage that and get out and then find some other red flag to and unfortunately that cycle happens so often with women, coupled with us I'm being very general, of course, but being, groomed to be polite and nice and not make anyone's feelings get hurt and blah, blah, blah. And we just ignore all the red flags and we think that people's language isn't a big deal because they probably whatever. And I want to be compassionate and a nice person. And I've spent, I had a crystal healing jewelry business. I've done Reiki. I do meditate. Like I've been in that center too, So it's like, I understand that like we want to hold space for everybody and all of those things. And I think that for, the dialogue that I have with the women that I train in terms of self-defense is unfortunately for women, yes, we have to worry about, in the Springs, there's a lot that's going on. Like a girl was just attacked in one parking lot and another. There's a lot of things happening that definitely make it a real need. However, I also know several women who've been physically attacked recently by their spouses, and to punch somebody in the throat who's the father of your kids or what, that's a different thing. I feel like it needs to be a part of training more. I'm not quite sure how that fits in, because then you start getting into like psychology, except for being like, The Gift of Fear is a great book to read. Attached is a great book to read, giving some tools of how to identify red flags, languages, like